All right, here we go with another Steve's Mailbag. I'm Steve, and this is a mailbag. I have a few of these planned. I try to get to them as much as I can. I got a lot to do around these parts with this channel. Today, so you want to be an energy reader, do you? A lot of people fancy themselves energy readers. I see them out on YouTube, all everywhere. I see them in public. I meet people all the time. I'm an energy reader too. Are you? Really? Because I've met thousands of people. I ain't never met another me. How about that? You're an energy reader. Wow. I guess I ain't that special then. Actually, I'm not. I mean, I am because I can read a lot of channels that other people can't, but everybody is an energy reader. The whole fucking planet. Animals, you, everybody. Everybody. Most of you know I'm a bird of prey expert. One of the best energy readers on the planet is a bird you all know as the owl. Owls, aside from the fact they can turn their heads around, which is the fact everybody knows, on average 240 degrees, some species 270 as far as that. But owls hunt by, they have wonderful eyesight, big eyes, right? They look like flying cats, don't they? The owls hunt in part with their eyes, but in part they pick up energy. And what frequency they pick up on most, pretty much the only frequency actually, is fear. Which in turn makes them a great hunter because they can feel the animal where it is because it's scared shitless of them, for starters. But secondly, it's part of what makes them really good pets, unfortunately. And I know in the UK, for example, because I have family there, they're kept as pets quite often. You could just get them from a breeder. Lots of people keep them. They make good pets because they read energy. And they only really pick up on fear. So as long as you're not afraid of them, they're actually quite nice and quite tame. Even in the wild, they won't let you pet them, but they'll let you get pretty close. Well, they will indeed. So that's just an example of an animal out there that could read. But all animals can. Lions, bears, dogs. You ask any lion tamer, he'll tell you the first thing you have to do is never be afraid of the lion, because they all pick up on fear. That's the number one thing animals pick up on. Human beings, let's talk about us, okay? Everybody, whether you're an energy reader or not, I call them channels, okay? That's just my vernacular. Can read 3 channels of energy, okay? All of you get 3 channels, whether you're an energy reader or you think you are or not. I'm going to take it a step further with this. I'm going to tell you about each of those 3 channels. And I'm going to teach you how to read a 4th channel. How about that? Might save your life one day. Might prevent you from getting into a car with the wrong damn person. Which can be a pretty scary thing for a woman in particular. See? He a Pisces, he knows. Happened to a friend of mine. That inability to tell the difference between angel energy and devil energy is everywhere. It's a problem that's run rampant because people have been taught from childhood. You're all expert energy readers with your 3 channels when you're a child. Right up until about the time you start school, when practical starts being pounded in your head and you get told that that's nonsense and you don't want to, all that stuff you're feeling is BS and whatever. I pushed past that because I read a fuck of a lot more than 3 channels. So for me, I knew it wasn't nonsense. I got the same programming every kid gets, but I was like, no, it ain't nonsense. No. But anyway, I pushed past it. But most people don't. And what that does, and that's why a lot of people get scammed, right? They fall for the trickster. Bernie Madoff took all that money from them celebrities. Yeah, it all looked good. It was all run off at Kinko's an hour before, but that paperwork all looked good, didn't it? That's devil energy. And when everybody falls for it, you get scammed, you get hurt, you get whatever. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you what the 3 energies you can read are. Okay? And then I'm going to teach you one more. It'll take some practice. And for those of you who are already energy readers and can read maybe 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6 layers deep, well, we'll call them channels. Well, it'll be a good practice exercise for you. I'll give you, because how I'm going to teach everybody the 4th channel, if you will, is good practice for you in honing your skills. You'll add a few more channels to your repertoire. All right? So here we go. Let's get started. All right. I used my handy dandy pause button, so that just didn't appear out of nowhere. First, I got to get my facts straight here. I got to get my head straight to give this lesson, because if I give it to you wrong, I'm in trouble. The first channel that everybody can read is light. If you can see color, it's color, really. Now, you hear me talk about that all the time, the background colors of cards that match each other and all that kind of stuff. You hear about that all the time. I tell you on the videos, if you can see color, well, you can read energy. You find the cards that look the same in the background or look similar, and they're tied together in the reading, etc., etc. But that translates into real life, too, with people, actually. You've heard of something called an aura, I'm sure. You've all heard of it. All it really is it's the waste energy. Waste energy that's emitted from us that can reveal a little bit about the personality of the person. I mean, I'm putting it simply here. I'm not trying to overcomplicate this shit. But it can tell you a little bit about just the general personality and demeanor of a person. It's super surface is what I often refer to it as. You don't have to be able to read auras. Not everybody can. Not everybody can see them. You got to concentrate to see it, and the lighting around you just has to be right. Not everybody can see auras. You don't have to. But you all can see what color clothes someone's wearing. Yeah. Psychology has taught us, and as an energy reader I can tell you it's true, that we pick certain colors for certain reasons. They're generally a reflection of our aura energy. It's a quick way, down and dirty, what color, typically the shirt or the hat. The shirt because it's right around the heart chakra, solar plexus and all that. And the hat because it's right up on the crown chakra. You want to pay attention to that. It's very important. Now, it's going to be a long video if I go through every color. You all got Google. Go out there and Google what the colors of the aura mean. And you'll get green means this, red means that, black means this, and blah, blah, blah. You'll get all of that. Learn what that is, because what color shirt in particular someone's wearing is very important. And it'll tell you a little bit on the surface, just as a quick read, when you first meet somebody or whatever, who they might be, what type of personality they might have. Then you can gauge how you engage them from there. That's just something everybody can do. Everybody. Everybody can also do Channel 2. Channel 2 is often the misunderstood one, and it's also the most deceiving one, if you will. It's what energy readers all call surface energy. Surface energy. Well, surface energy, what is that? That's what I do when I walk up to somebody. I get a quick surface read. I don't usually bother. I just look at the shirt and go, red shirt, okay. But the surface energy, we all read it. And proof of that is we have common phrases in our vernacular. Somebody rubbed me the wrong way. They rubbed me the wrong way. Or there's just something about them I don't like. Or I don't like the look of them. That's surface energy, and you're actually reading it. But your brain tends to kick in. Your brain is your ego energy. I'll cover that in a second. It's there to protect you. It's there to the brain's job is to almost refute and debunk anything the soul or intuition has to say. So that's why you want to be careful. And this is where people get screwed up on surface energy. Okay? We have two core energies. Yeah, we got a lot of energies. We got 7 chakras and all that. But there's 2 core energies that run us. One is the soul energy. That's who we really are. That has all the wisdom from our past lives. It's where all the emotion comes from. It's made of love, basically. It's made of emotion. It's the one thing in our life that can't be taken away from us. Sure, you might think you have a bunch of power if you have a fancy job and a fancy car. I'm a powerful man. I got a job that does this or does that. Take away the job, take away the money, take away the car, and if you ain't worked on your soul, you got nothing. You're a broken man at that point. But if you build up your soul energy and you figure out who you really are and you go on them spiritual journeys, well, nobody can ever take that away from you. It don't matter what happens to you in the 3D. It ain't going to mean shit. But that said, the ideal person is balanced between the soul and the ego. Most people, unfortunately, in today's society are heavy on the ego, light on the soul. They're a little bit materialistic, a little bit narcissistic, worried about getting the right smartphone, got to get the latest smartphone. And they do a lot of that just to impress other people. All of that's ego. None of that is soul. The soul don't care about impressing other people. It don't care about anything. It don't. It doesn't care about any of that shit. Money, none of it. That's all ego. All of it. And it's all relatively pointless at the end of the road. Okay? We all end up in the same place at the end of the day. Anyway, on the plus side, surface energy is generally you're reading ego from someone. So on the plus side, it's good. It makes it good for reading energy, because if somebody's all ego, they're pretty easy to read. They got a lot of surface energy pumping out of them. Okay? And the way you read surface energy is actually just your first impression of a person. Your brain, you want to walk up to a person. If you meet a person for the first time and you want to read their surface energy, you need to shut your brain down. You need to completely shut your brain down and listen to what your first impression is from your soul. It's a fleeting thought. It's a fleeting feeling that turns into a thought. All right? Your soul sends signals to the brain for communication. Your intuition, we'll call it. Your intuition sends that signal in a language you speak, in the only way it knows how. So a lot of people mistake that for God or angels and things. It's not. It's just your intuition communicating with you the only way it knows how. Everything is just energy. Best not overcomplicate it with a bunch of, archangels with different names. You got to keep track of it. It's like Star Wars characters. For like, Metatron, right? What's he do? It's just an energy. It's just a frequency band of energy that we've put a name to. Everything in the universe is energy. That's science. It was said by Mr. Einstein himself, in fact. Anyway, my point is you need to shut your brain down. The first thing that goes through your mind. The first thing, before you start thinking, nah, that can't be true, or no this, or no that, because your brain is a real negative Nelly. The first thing that goes through is a true read of the surface energy. But a true read of the surface energy is kind of deceptive. For me, I use keywords. You kind of train yourself to read energy. My keywords are cool or asshole. That's it. That's all. That's my surface read right off the top on somebody. I know whether I'm going to give them any of my time or energy as soon as I meet them. Within 5 seconds, they're either cool or an asshole. Done. That's it. If they're an asshole, I'll talk to them, but I won't really pay attention. I got my standard blow-off line. I wish you best for the future. That's code word for Steve saying you best not call me and you're not going to get my fucking email address. That kind of thing. Find a word that works for you, whatever works in your vernacular, and that first impression, over time, you'll start to get it. It'll come to you. And then whatever from there your brain wants to tell you, just kind of ignore it and let it go. Your first impression on someone is usually right. Your intuitive impression. Okay, you got to shut your brain down. Don't think about anything the first second you meet the person. Everybody has this ability. We've all met people where we just get an uneasy feeling when we meet them. Something's off about them, we say. You're reading surface energy, but your brain is telling you, no, that's not real. You're just overreacting. No, you're not. And it's landed a lot of people in a lot of trouble because they didn't follow their intuition about a person. And they missed out. They either missed out on a good person because they prejudged them with their brain, with their ego, or they got in a car with the wrong person because they didn't listen to their intuition. Told them something's off about this person. So you can all read energy that way. Listen to your intuition. Always listen to it, but you got to shut down the brain to hear it. A good example of intuition is that thing that's happened to everybody where you're thinking about somebody and then, I don't know, an hour later they call. But when they call, you don't remember that you thought about them until they call, and then you say, oh my God, I was just thinking about them a little bit ago. That's intuition. Intuition is A feeling you get that translates into, and then you forget you thought about it right after. Like the Men in Black came with their pens and blocked out your memory. That kind of thing. It's not a thought that you dwell on. It's a feeling that turns into a thought and then dissipates quickly. That's why you got to catch it. It's like magic. You got to catch it. That's how a lot of times I read cards. The same kind of thing when we read cards. That first thought, that first fleeting, intuitive thing that comes into your head when you pull the card is the right thing. Everything after that is just your ego questioning it and doubting it. And it's going to screw up your whole reading. If you want to apply these techniques to reading cards, it's got to be the first thing. That's why I tell you, when you pull a card, make sure you're drawn to one little thing in the card. One little thing. Maybe it's just the swan's beak here. Something about the black beak. And then you learn about what black means. What the color black means. Right? Study colors. Learn what the properties of the colors are. Learn what a green aura is. Learn whatever. Apply it. You can blend these three channels and get yourself a fuller picture. That's where a lot of energy readers go wrong, is they only take it one channel at a time. No. Energy reading is like one of them TVs with the screen in screen where you can have like 5 different channels running at once and each one's in a little square. It's like that. It is. And that's how a tarot reading works too. It's a picture in picture. It's not just one card at a time. It's what's around it and looking around and what ties to this and what ties to that. You can get a really good picture of somebody with just light energy and surface read. And you're all capable of doing that. But most of you deny the surface read because, you let the thought go through. It comes in as a feeling and then it turns into a thought, but it lasts just a second and then your brain kicks in. And you're wooed by the surface of their... if it's devil energy that they're surrounded by, they're going to be very flattering. You're wooed by their, oh, no, this... Your intuition tells you it's a bad person, but your brain comes in and goes, oh, but they're so handsome. Oh, but this. Oh, but he got a Ferrari. Oh, but, all of that is bullshit. All that matters is the surface read. And it only lasts a second, unfortunately. 2 seconds on the top side, I would say, for most of you. Be careful if anything more than 2 seconds. So, what's this third level then? Well, the third level is it's soul energy, okay? It's reading the soul, who someone really is. But the one that everybody can do is a combination of number 2 and number 3 here. I call it surface soul, okay? Surface soul read. It's not deep, going down deep and finding out their childhood problems and all this kind of stuff, but you're all capable. Every single person watching this is capable of a surface soul read. You ever hear the saying, I'll show you the quickest way to do it. There's a few ways to do it, but I'm just going to give you the easiest one. And it's the one that's the most accurate. You ever hear the saying, the eyes are the windows to the soul? Well, it's in part true and in part false. It's true enough for the surface soul read, though. And that basically is when you run into somebody, while you're reading the person, you get your little surface impression, you see what color shirt they're wearing, right? You get your little surface impression, good person, bad person, cool, asshole, whatever. Look into their eyes. First of all, the first thing you want to ask is, are they making eye contact with me? If they're not, that tells you who they are. I can give you a surface soul read on that right now. Someone who doesn't make eye contact is hiding something. They got low self-worth. But it's caused by some sort of pain that happened to them in the past or childhood core programming, if they won't make eye contact with you. Either way, look into their eyes. You make eye contact with them. Are their pupils dilated, or are they real tiny and small, just little tiny little things? If they got real tiny pupils, generally it's an indication of someone of disinterest, if they do. They're not really interested. It's an indication of a narcissist. It can be, but you need to go deeper to find that. Someone who's only concerned with themselves. Someone whose pupils are really dilated, the bigger they are, is someone who's genuinely interested in learning about you. Now, the problem with that is you need to revert back to the surface read and the light read. What color shirt they're wearing, because that can also be devil energy. Devil is very interested in learning about you. They want to know how they can take advantage of you. That's why. So keep that in mind. You know, you've got to use all three at the same time. But the eyes can tell you a lot about a person. People with light colored eyes tend to be more outgoing. People with darker eyes tend to be more introverted and keep more secrets and have more secrets in general. It's always proven to be true. It's not 100% accurate. It is just a surface soul read. Okay? So that's an easy way to tell if someone's interested in you or not. And what you're actually doing by doing that, by making eye contact with them and reading their eyes, is you are peering into their soul a little bit. You're peering past the surface energy. Because the surface energy, as we often talk about with the Queen of Wands, can be fake. And that's where we get tripped up. No, most people stop right there. They get flattered by the ego of the person or their beauty or how handsome they are, and that's what gets them into trouble. Gets you into trouble every time. It's probably why you date the wrong people. Well, I went out with you because you seemed real pretty. You know, okay, right? Great. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to rip you off and spend all your money and sit around and not work and be all lazy and cheat on you and all that kind of stuff. Pretty people do that kind of shit all the time. You know, we see it with the Queen of Wands and tarot. Every time I pull that Queen of Wands in these soulmate readings, it's the pretense. It's your person's phony-ass surface energy, which is what they're pumping out for people to see and feel. But it's completely different underneath. If we were to look in your person's eyes, we'd see surface soul energy. We get a little bit deeper. That's where we can kind of skim off the top and find out if they're full of shit or not. You know. We'll kind of, for a lot of your soulmates in these readings, I guarantee you, we wouldn't be seeing any dilated pupils. I promise you that. We'd be seeing little pin pupils, little tiny little things. Because they're very self-focused. There's someone who's not that interested in you, but, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, that's the best way to read surface soul energy. The other way ties with the way forward. Number 4 here, which is the extra channel that not everybody has. Well, you all have, but not everybody uses. It's very difficult. It's one that needs to be exercised. It's a muscle that doesn't get used. So we're going to talk about that after these messages. Okay, number 4, tertiary energy. That's what I call it. I have my own terms for these things. In some cases, the only one everyone uses is surface. I'm giving you some paraphrase here. Tertiary energy. It's a tertiary soul read. It's deeper than the surface. It goes down a little bit. It'll make you, it's what most tarot readers here on YouTube, this 4th channel is what they have. It makes for a decent tarot reader. Someone who says they're an intuitive tarot reader. This is about as far as they can go. This is about as far as they can go. I'm going to teach you how to, and you can use this, again, it pairs with all of these. Everything. You can apply all of this to tarot reading if you want. The background colors of the cards tie together, the surface energy, your initial intuitive thought, the surface soul energy, you go a little deeper into the energy there. You look into, you focus on a focal point on the card, much like you'd focus into someone's eyes. It tells you a little bit more about the energy. Also looking at the bottom card, the crossing card, and looking at that can help with this as well. And tertiary energy. Tertiary energy is what a good energy reader can do. It is where we get the stories from. It is where it's where we can extrapolate a little bit and talk about the person and say, well, this is somebody who's this, and this, and they probably did this, and they probably did that. There's a lot of deduction involved with tertiary energy reading. Tertiary soul. Tertiary meaning outer, or the 3rd layer usually. Okay? It goes a couple of layers deep into the soul, but I'm going to teach you how to do it to someone in person. And this is a little trick that'll help some of you who can read even more channels, okay, get even better. It's a good practice technique. So, you've read someone's surface energy, you see what color shirt they're wearing, you got an idea of what their aura might be, and what kind of personality they might have. You know whether they're an asshole or they're cool in general. And you can find out whether they're a narcissist or whether they're really interested in you, or whether they're someone who's just so ego-based and gone that you probably shouldn't even bother with them, you know, superficial. And right here, you can get a little bit of their story. You get a little bit of their what makes them who they are. Because who we are, who we really are, as I already told you, is in the soul. How do you do it? Well, you need to get them talking. You need to get them talking. You need to sit down and have a conversation with them. It doesn't matter if they're talking to you or if they're talking to somebody else, but you need their ego otherwise occupied. Okay? And when someone's talking, they're usually talking with their ego. That's why I like to keep people talking. I often quote that line from Rush Hour that Jackie Chan had. I love it. I love the line. It's perfect for reading Tertiary Soul Energy. He says, I like to let people talk. It lets me see how full of shit they are. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get them talking. It's because the ego, it occupies the ego, and then the soul is just sitting there. The energy is just sitting there. So how do you read it? Well, it's going to come through. I should back up, or I should fast forward to the end. It's going to come through the same way the surface energy does. It's going to be a fleeting feeling that turns into a thought. All right. If there was a break in the video there, I apologize. I had a fleeting feeling that turned into a thought. It said, hey, go do a Scorpio video, dumbass. So I did. You'll see it. It's a Scorpio video that's out there. Wow, you get a behind the scenes look. It's crazy. Wow. Anyway, get them talking. Tertiary, get them talking. Okay, so you got them talking. What do you do then? Stare at them. What? Yeah. But it's a trick. You need to learn how to look at somebody. You need to learn to look through someone. Okay? The trick is, this is the part where doing this video was the most difficult for me, because I wanted to teach this fourth one here, but it's very tricky. It's very hard to understand. So try to follow me here. And you can practice on objects if you don't want to stare at people and get called some kind of psycho fool. But you want to look at something or someone, in this case we'll say someone, and not see them. What I'm saying is, you want to look at them, but you're not really there. They're not really there. They become almost a shadow in front of you. Okay? And the information that comes in when you do that, you're going to get flooded with information, all kinds of little thoughts about them. You'll pick up all sorts of little things, all sorts of everything. You'll find out something about childhood. You'll start to feel things. It's felt. It's energy that's felt. It's from the intuition. It's from the soul. So it's very feeling-y. The soul is emotion. The soul is made of love. You'll feel pain. You'll feel all sorts of things. You'll feel an emptiness. That tells you maybe the person is, depressed or has been hurt recently. Things along those lines. This is why if you're going to be anything beyond these three, or even these three, an energy reader on any level, a card reader on any level, you've got to experience life. You've got to go out and have some life experiences so that you know when these feelings come in, these intuitive feelings, how to translate them into words. That's the hardest part, right? Translating feelings into words is the #1 problem with relationships. I love you comes out as you smell funny. It is. It does it all the time. They feel the love, but they don't know how to process it, so you smell funny. And in grade school, we used to hit the person we liked, You punch them or hit them on the arm or something. My God. I got kicked in the nuts by one girl in 4th grade. I remember her name. Anyway, I'm not going to say her name on video. She might be watching. My nuts are fine, just so you know. Anyway, you want to look at the person without looking at them. You want to practice on an object, take a deck of cards, stick it on the table in front of you, about as far away from it as I am, just sort of a half an arm's length, and stare at it. And keep staring at it until it all but disappears, until it's almost not there, until you're not really, you're neutral. You have to be neutral. So you're not thinking about it, you're not staring at any particular thing about it, it's just there. It's like when somebody's, and we've all done it. You've all done it whether you realize it or not. You've all actually hypnotized yourselves whether you realized it or not. You ever drifted off and you're kind of half there, half not there, and you got almost like a dream going, but it's not really a dream. Everybody does it. Falling asleep at the wheel is the most common self-hypnosis that happens. But it is a form of, it's almost hypnosis. It's called energetic stasis, really, is how I look at it. It's not really being hypnotized. It's an energetic stasis. You're putting yourself in sort of neutral. And that allows you to take in the information that you would normally miss. You're all capable of doing that. But you have to put yourself in a neutral position. For me, I can do it in a snap of a finger. It just happens. It's something I've learned how to do, and you'll be able to learn how to do that. It takes a little practice. That's why I say practice on objects. So you're going to be the weirdest person at the pub or the weirdest person at the grocery store. You're going to go up to security. Some weirdo was staring at me. You know, you don't want to do that. But you can actively listen while they're talking if they're talking to you and nod every once in a while. But you're not actually looking at them. They're just there. They just become an object, something blocking view. You're not taking in any information about them, any data, any detail. What you are getting is feelings. And you're not sure where those feelings are coming from. Well, they're coming from them. And it's much the same way that you guys feel your soulmate connection. A lot of you right now are feeling a lot of things you didn't know you'd be feeling. Or you don't even want to be feeling. You're feeling it from the other side. You're doing just that. You're reading tertiary soul energy. You're doing a tertiary read. That's what you're doing. You just don't know it. But you can do it. You can induce it on other people as well. Just stand there. Just stare at them until they disappear. We've all done that. You've all stared at something, stare at a point on the wall, and it just sort of goes away. You have to get to that point. That's when you receive all the data. That's what it is. That's why I say when I do readings, I do them from a neutral perspective. Okay? I'm sitting in a field I grew up in, near where I grew up, that I used to sit in and watch kestrels hunt. Kestrels are a small falcon, for those who don't know. But anyway, I'm in that field when I do the readings. I'm not here. I'm here, I'm talking, but I'm not actually. I'm looking at the cards, but my soul energy, my ego is here telling jokes and making cracks, translating what the soul is transmitting. But me, I'm in that energetic stasis, and I'm sitting in a field. If you have to, find a place to put yourself. A happy place, a comfortable place, a neutral place, a place where you're not sad and you're not euphoric. Okay? Don't put yourself in a crowd at a rock concert. That's euphoria. Don't put yourself in a waiting room at the hospital. That's sad. Okay? Find your own field, whatever it is, and stare at the person and then put yourself in that field. So they're talking, you're listening. This is why sometimes it's better if they're talking to somebody else, if you do that, because you don't want to be rude, because if you're not real good at it, you'll miss what they're saying because you're in the field, and you'll just miss every word they're saying. But do it however works for you. You can all read that energy. Everybody definitely has the top three here, but number four, the vast majority of 90% of you have the ability to go to number four. That's why I'm teaching it to you. All right? And for me, if you want to get a feel for how I feel and why I have to put blocks up, I can read dozens of channels. Not just 3, not just 4. I can go deep. I freak the fuck out of people. I'm a whole lot of be careful what you wish for if you want to read. But it is what it is. You can be a whole lot of be careful what you wish for too. Number 4 can be pretty trippy. You know, you can tell someone, I know you're hurting from something that happened to you recently. And they're like, how the fuck do you know that? That's the first thing they'll say to you. They'll always say, how the fuck do you know that? You know, because this is stuff, this tertiary level of the soul is the stuff we kind of keep to ourselves. We might tell close friends. We might it's telling of why we are. Not who we are, why we are. A little bit of these 3 together or a little bit of who you're dealing with. This is just a pinch of why they're the way they are. What caused them to be this way. So if the surface energy is a bunch of superficial pretense and fluff, you can find out why with number 4. Pair all of them together. Even if you can just do the first 3, doesn't matter if you can't do number 4. It's just something for you to practice. Again, I recommend practicing on objects. I'm just saying, maybe try to read your dog. If you have a dog, dogs are easy to read. The energy of dogs is very easy because they want you to read them. They want you to like them. Dogs are very subservient. They're pack animals. So, you know, it's like that dog whisperer guy there, Caesar Milan always says, you want to be the pack leader. Okay, if you're the pack leader, the dog's going to try to please you. Dogs want you to read them. They're so easy to read. That's why they don't like me. They know I can read them. Dogs never like me. I don't know what it is. But anyway, something like a bird or something like that is going to be tricky because they're sociopaths and they don't want you to read them. And they know you are because they're very psychic and they're very good at reading things. They will block your ass out in 2 seconds. But dogs are great to practice on. I tell you what, most of what you're going to get off a dog is I'm hungry and I want to be petted and I'm horny. That's pretty much what you're going to get off a dog. And if you could read a bird, you're going to get pretty much the same thing there too. I often say this parrot over here laughing in the background. The only thing he requires in life is a good place to sit, a good place to sleep, and something to screw. And maybe a snack. That's about it. But anyway, you'll find that a lot of people are like that too, unfortunately, when you read their surface energy. You'll find you'll get more depth out of your dog. About 78.2% of the people you're going to read, this is based on my own personal life experience and notebooks I'm keeping, are full of shit. They are. They're not your real friend. They don't want you to meet that soulmate because they don't have one. They're jealous. 78.2% of the people around you, whether they're friends or family, are complete bullshit. And they're putting out a surface energy and they've got their biases and their opinions. It's the other 21.8% who really are genuine and who are there, who care about you. You know, that 78% is higher, by the way, as I know I have a few celebrities who come here now and watch. Is higher if you're a celebrity. That 78.2% of bullshit is for the average Joe. For you celebrities, I'm afraid, because I know quite a few, I've been here a while, it's about 88% of the people around you are just happy to fucking know you, just because they want to tell people they know you and drop their name, and they all want to bang you, whether you like it or whether you believe it or not. Hell, some of your own cousins want to bang you, just to tell people they did. But either way, for most of you, not a celebrity, it's about 78.2% of the people are putting out pretense. It's of some kind, which is a lie. A pretense, the definition is something that we tell people is true, or we put out that's true that isn't true. It's not at all true. So keep that in mind. But anyway, those are the tips. Go ahead and Google what the colors mean of the aura. Learn what that means and take a look at what somebody's wearing. Take a look at their hat, if they're wearing a hat. You know, an interesting thing about that, I'll give you a point before I go here on that aura thing versus clothing and wearing the clothing and looking at the colors and using psychology a little bit to try to figure out who they are. You know, it's helpful if you've seen the person a few times. If you haven't, you're just going to have to go on a whim that they chose the color. We always choose the color. So if we choose colors we like, we go on to that assumption. But there's an old saying that the guy in the black hat is the bad guy and the guy in the white hat is the good guy. Yeah. It's actually not true. It's actually backwards. In my experience, if I see someone wearing a black hat, they're probably pretty cool. They're probably going to be pretty good. They're probably a pretty decent person. It's the person in the white hat you got to worry about. They're trying a little too hard. Unless they're a little cutie in a sun hat going to the beach. Well, that's different. That's fine. But generally speaking, talking like baseball caps and things like that, or cowboy hats or whatever, you're technically looking for somebody in a darker hat, believe it or not. Just from energy read experience, black is none of the colors. White is all of the colors. All of the colors means it's hit or miss. You can kind of, you know, if white's their favorite color, they're a person who can run very hot and cold. So keep that in mind. That's just an example of the kind of things you can learn from this very initial sort of read here. And the surface energy is very important. You all pick up on that. Make sure you listen to your guts about people. Listen to your instincts. Okay? And don't trust people because of what you see on the surface. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Just because someone's in your church group doesn't mean that they're a good person. Let them show you who they are. That surface read is going to be accurate. You're going to cut through their pretense with it. Your intuition is going to say asshole or cool. Obviously, if it says asshole, listen to it. Start observing what they are, how they act. how they are around people. Are they someone, if your intuition says asshole, right? And you think, gosh, and your brain kicks in and goes, gosh, that can't be true. They're in my church group. Well, just watch them. People watch. People watching will teach you more about life than any school you'll ever go to. It's something I've been doing since I was a little kid. And I keep notes on it. I'm crazy about it. But people do the darndest things. Yeah, that nice person from the church group that your brain tells you is wonderful, but your intuition said asshole in your surface read? Well, okay, keep an eye on them. Are they walking around the room rubbing the back of all the girls they find? If they have to walk up and say something to somebody, are they putting their hand on the back of the girl? Whether they're rubbing or not, are they touchy-feely kind of person? Yeah, asshole. Don't get in the car with them. Straight up. They're a horn dog. Are you kidding me? That's physical contact. That's straight up. I mean, it's just one little thing that might show you. Oh, yeah, and then your brain's going to kick in, by the way, and say, oh, but they're just really nice. They're in the church group. Yeah. Yeah. Tell that to my friend who took a ride home one night from somebody in her church group that she had trusted for a while. Be careful, okay? Be careful. Devil energy and angel energy is very hard to tell. Let people show you who they are, not tell you, okay? Make sure you pay attention to those things, and always trust your intuition, whether it's pulling a card or not. Always trust your intuition. Yeah. Go ahead. What do these cards tell you? I just pulled the Knight of Cups, Four of Pentacles reversed, and the Page of Swords. What's it tell you? Well, okay. It's red, center, left, right. This is a message for somebody because I just pulled these cards randomly. Somebody's getting over their fears and coming towards you because they've been watching you, but they're waiting for the right time. There you go. That's a message for somebody. I don't know who. It's somebody who's been keeping an eye on you a while, I can tell you that. How do I know that? Because I lost my voice? No, because that's what my little intuition told me. My little fleeting thought. My fleeting feeling that turned into a thought. And it dissipated away. That's why. And I guarantee you that's accurate for somebody out there, probably 100 somebodies. You can all read energy. But number 4, if you can practice that, you can get really good at it. You can go deeper. You can train yourself to go deeper. You all have a capability to a point. Okay? Keep that in mind. It's an important skill set to have, being able to read people. You know? If someone lying to you. How do you know if someone's lying to you? What do you do? What do you look for when someone's lying? Well, the story needs to make sense, first of all, in the words. But I'll tell you something. It works generally best. I'll give you a little fun tip. It works generally best with someone wearing glasses. But when someone lies, unless they had Botox, then it won't work. But when someone lies, their left eyebrow goes up just a little bit. Just a little bit, like a millimeter, if that. It works good if you've got a reference point. If someone's lying to you, it does it every time. It's involuntary. They tell a lie. It goes up just a little. Keep an eye on it. When someone's talking to me, I always try to focus on that, on their forehead area. A lot of the micro expressions and things that give people away, their tells, are on the forehead area, around the eyes, around the eyebrows, and things like that. Keep an eye out. Also, they'll look in certain directions, or they won't make eye contact. That's not always 100%. I tend to like the micro expressions best. You can Google a whole bunch of micro expressions if you want. There's all sorts of stuff out there on it. Find it. Learn about people. I'm telling you, you'll never get yourself in a situation again where somebody's going to blindside you and leave you and screw you over or something like that. These are good skills to have. These are important skills, and they're real skills. And unfortunately, they're skills we all start out with really sharp, really good as babies, right up through about the time we go to kindergarten or start grade school or primary school or whatever. And around that time, the practical starts getting pounded in, like I said, and, you know, you get told by your parents it's nonsense and all that kind of stuff. So it's a shame because, you know, we all have them and we go through it. But that ego, that brain, will talk you out of it every time. So keep that in mind. That's your mailbag. That's the best I can do for right now on this. I just wanted to give you a basic overview on it, on what energy reading is. I would practice that if I were you. Try to look at something without looking at it. I know it sounds deep. It sounds philosophical, doesn't it? It will give you more information than you know what to do with. If you get really good at that, you'll feel too much about people. you'll need to put blocks up too. So be careful. But it is something that you need to practice. And practice does make perfect. All right. I hope this video was helpful to you. And that's it. Good luck.